And there is hope, because we stressed the point a few times yesterday. There was rounds where they were clearly shown what they were capable of versus Order. They just kept falling short on those important swing rounds. And I think now against HEET, not their fellow countrymen, they're already down in this lower bracket. What is there to lose? Hopefully they're going to be able to show us a lot more.
It was never going to be comfortable wherever they ended up. No map was going to be good. They've got experience against the best here. They're 16-9 lost to Astralis, but plenty to draw from that experience. And they'll be needing every ounce of it here. Up against HEET, of course, the Frenchman starting over on the CT side of Nuke. And up against a full ramp rush to start things off by the looks. 3 players four-headed in, and Jocko immediately opening his account with a clean one-tap to the skull of hazr. They get the control, but they lose a man in the process.
Not a bad start. They will try and pile up on Exercise. He drops the nade, doesn't actually really do any damage. But it did stop them from pushing further in towards Hell for now. Instead, looking like they do want to still move down towards B. Decent setup. Joko alongside Body. Joko is relatively low though, so he's hoping to take the first contact, take that attention and bait them into his teammate, but he just gets all of the headshots. 8buck and Sterling go down. The bomb somewhat in the open. Joko just keeps on going one by one as they show the tip of their head. And it's all on Savage suddenly.
You can't be doing that, boys. Peeking one by one into a player. I know I singled him out, but he's got talent, Joko. He knows what he's about. He will finally go down to Savage, but it's a 1-for-1 trade. Clean as you like from the Frenchman to open things up. And again, that just doesn't feel great, right? The early litmus test of just watching them peek one by one into the shoulders, just giving the headshots up to Joko, tapping away on that headshot angle. Really didn't look like there was too much of a plan to deal with him until the last moment. Early pistol goes the way of the CT side, and this is where I think we need to start seeing that resilience from Encore, right? Yesterday, at times, it felt like their heads got down a little bit. We saw those moments of individual brilliance, but never really able to stitch it together with consistency. Today, like you said, there's nothing to lose here. It's the lower bracket. Worst comes to worst, you've got your experience of the Tier 2 EU scene. You've got some more VODs to go home and review, so let's see something a little magic out of you. They're going to try and charge into that lower site, this time through Secret. But Jocko again is up to the challenge, and again these peaks are looking isolated. hazr and Savage do well. They do manage to at least grab a couple of kills, but with that bomb down in the lower site, Savage solo topside. They know exactly where he is as well. HEET really no need to fluff their lines whatsoever. Afro catches the timing, and well, 1-0 becomes 2 very swiftly.
Yeah, they do lose a couple of players, but I like the composure we're seeing. Body just tapping on the heads, despite the players piling around the corner, was still just trying to keep that precision. They manage, of course, to deal with the force. Now they're up against just a few upgraded pistols, so a 3-0 start pretty much confirmed. Saying that to hopefully help Encore. Gaster's curse, of course. But,
keep it going.
Oh, that nade destroyed Licky. Not a good start. One of the Deagles as well, so maybe he'll drop that over to his teammate. For now, though, looking for a pick, hoping a couple of players on the side of HEET get a bit over-adventurous, looking to try and open things up, and potentially a kill or two can be found just to make it a somewhat costly round.
I would have liked to have seen a little more grouping again, if I'm honest. A couple of isolated fights being taken, a couple of free kills for the M4s to farm away at. Lucky doubles his account in towards Squeaky. And again, it just feels a little disjointed to me. I'm going to try and leave it alone, but these opening rounds, they are taking one-by-one fights here on Encore, and HEET are up for the challenge. They've got a very talented French roster. They are one of these Tier 2 French teams who are floating around, getting players picked in and out of them by the Tier 1 scene. So taking those one-by-one fights does not feel like the play. We need to see something a little more joined together from Encore. Perhaps this is the round to get it. Good belts of utility across the board. Licky, the only man taking the sacrifice down to the Galil to make sure he can grab some extra nades. And an early outside smoke towards red. You can see HEET a little conscious of that outside presence. Body's already dropped his Molotov. Wanted to make sure there was no kind of a cross, and he's still holding top red. Just trying to make sure there's no extra presence available as Encore do back out of that early lobby presence. Start to set up some more smokes towards outside.
Yeah, a little bit of presence being shown towards Secret, at least trying to draw some attention away from outside. Too sure whether the goal will be to drop or to actually end it towards this A bomb site. Nice shot by hazr. Exercise tried to get aggressive. Body and main now being wrapped on. He will be traded 1-for-1 with Lucky getting the return, but it took the attention once again for a few seconds. It allowed them to start their push in from lobby, but they're a bit too delayed. It allowed the... Joko had been pushed up, I believe, on ramp the entire time, just tucked in, so it allowed him to get his flank very quickly on, and well, then Afro, who had been given time to rotate into the bomb site as well, is going to be there to finish off Sterling. So 4-0. It was a little bit promising from Encore. They had some entries, some opportunities, but fortunately, they didn't capitalize on moving in towards that bomb site quite quick enough.
A little rough around the edges again. Outside control. It was a nice initial fake, but the lack of presence really allowed Lucky to stay up in towards Vent. You saw him toy with dropping down, but was called back. Held the upper site, and that was actually what allowed that extra man to be there to give them the extra firepower they needed in a very scrappy topside hold. This time Body lurking in and around those vents. Lucky tucks himself CT side instead. Early util comes out. It's going to be a delayed pop, I think, from Encore. They've got the nades to have a second crack at this upper site. With Lucky spamming away, the bullets look a little low. Lucky full blinded out on a limb. Does go down to the molly, in fact, of hazr. And again, it's scrappy for this CT side, but Body's recovering it well. Afro dives in to save the day. And as soon as it begins, it's ended. It looked promising for a split second. Nice timing on the utility. The nades very nearly catching a couple players out in the middle of no man's land, but Body there, able to recover a swift pivot for the second, and now APOC down on 16 HP. I mean, there's not a lot you can do here. Hoping maybe for an extra kill. If you take those 3 rifles away, that's what we always call that tilt, that turning point, I suppose. Yeah, let's call it a turning point. Why not? The point at which you're buying in more into the next round than you're saving, so you start to decimate that economy just a little bit more every round. So it would be good for Encore if they can nab that. Potentially a bomb plant as well. APOC does have the bomb on his back, and he's got an isolated fight against Afro. Not the easiest thing in the world for the AWPer, but he knows his man is low HP, so he's happy to stick around on that Tech 9. Should hear this bomb going down shortly. Not going to contest the initial plant at least, but then charging in, spamming away, gets a little isolated again, gives APOC 1. That's the economic damage done. Let's see how much more realistic damage he can do. Onto that AWP. Jocko knows it. Flash is not quite connecting either. APOC remains posted on decon. Timing's going to be everything here. Jocko walks right into it. Give APOC the first, and Body now inside of the smoke. They pass between each other, and Body has no idea he's been spotted as well. APOC knows. Bomb so far ticked. Body's not got a clue. He's got no info. Nothing to go on, but the bomb not planted for APOC. He's going to have to come out. Miss shot. Misses the second. He misses both. And the time is going to be so damn close. I don't think Body's got it. It will be the first round on the board for Encore. The pistols do get it done. A little bit of magic. It's scrappy, but they will not care.
Damn. Really is right down to the wire as well. A couple missed eagle shots make it so that it's a second within there, that defuse. Nice attempt by Body, of course. It's going to be a 4-1 scoreline. Encore, they didn't have a ton going into that round either, so that's a nice way to kind of kickstart themselves to life here. One more round off the back of it, immediately Heat will be broken. They're already working with a couple MP9s in this buy, so it is a good chance for Encore to really get going. And well, a missed up shot here for Afro might give them a chance to do so. A rush onto the A bomb site. It's actually hazr with both entries. Smoke to make sure no one can rotate back in through main, and with that the bomb plant should go down with no one being able to do anything about it. A save already I think is going to have to be called for.
Both the MP9s on that upper site. AKs against MP9s. I don't need to tell you which way that ends up. Nice shooting by Encore. They grab their second round. He gonna look for the 3-man save. Not a bad decision to make whatsoever. Afro's got his AWP. Courtesy of it being such an early hit as well. Jocko and Body, well, all 3 of them, to be honest with you, have got really solid utility still. So if they can hold on to everything they've got, give them a little more of a chance into the next round. But this is more like it from Encore. Like you said, a little bit of magic to get them kick-started. Afro whiffing a couple of shots on the Tech, taking full advantage of. And now just starting to string things together. All 5 players kept up in this one. A little bit of money built up in the bank. An opportunity to break the finances of Heat, as well as the CT side find themselves with just the $2,400 loss bonus. If they get past this cleanly, this T side starts to look solid.
Yeah, especially since they're forcing in around the saved weapons there. They've got a FAMAS and an auto shotgun, 2 weapons that are pretty solid here on Nuke. I mean, the Oh shit, he can be used around HUT, around ramp. There's plenty of close range positions. But it means, again, everything has been put into this round. If they lose it, especially without saving weapons, then they're on an eco. Suddenly it's tied at 4-4, and Encore are on track to get a good T-side. So we'll have to see whether that's how it plays out now or not. Joko burns a little bit, so with that probably doesn't want to stay too aggressive. It's obviously giving his position away a little bit. Side control as well, looking like it's going to be the goal a little bit late with it. Drop the smokes. Yeah, some presence around Secret. A massive gap. Okay, well, actually, I think they may have intended that by the way they played it, because I don't think they could have accidentally left such a massive gap.
Oh, you hope not. It was a heaving one. Two players have taken damage, both significant. The Frenchmen are pushing everything at the moment, really chancing their arm. Exercise takes the bullets for Lucky there. Down to 31. Does manage to recover the 4A1S as Joko going again for a push in towards lobby, and this timing is everything. Savage, he wants to back his man up. He's playing the trigger discipline, and Joko can't quite rein that spray in. Only the one. Hazr finds another quick kill, and suddenly those low HP bars feel like less of an issue. Lucky is alone on this upper site. Afro on that saved AWP. He doesn't care about low HP bars. He's looking for the flank, and Hazr continuing to do work. Two players tagged up, only Sterling with full health. The problem is it's Afro headed into the fray here. AWP in the 1v3 doesn't look too interested in the save on this occasion. Hazr, mate, what is that? Freebie of a kill given up to Afro to open things up, and now he recovers an AK as well. Knows there's some low HP bars on the board. Molotov to lock out one of these angles. APOC in towards the vent. Sterling, the high HP player, has gone aggressive through HUT. Afro has to clear everything, though, and that's going to be the problem for him now. Tapping that bomb once. He draws out APOC, low HP. There's the freebie. Molotov still available. He's still got that kit as well. Tapping it out a second time. Sterling not biting. And Afro now stuck with the stick. He reacts in time. He won't find the round. All 5 kills, however, and that is a swift headshot from Afro. A statement of intent, no less. Third round on the board for Encore either way. Investment going to have to come in wholeheartedly, and I mean, I'm just not quite sure how to explain that from Hazr, if I'm very honest.
He must have just presumed that at that point Afro was going for the save. I mean, you know it's the upper, you know he likely has the up on him at that point. It's a 3v1, there's not a ton of time either, so it's a somewhat reasonable assumption, but it was still a bit early for him to get moving. Took a bit of a risk, and it did cost him a bit more money, but his team get it done. That is the main thing, of course. Encore are able to close out on the round. But let's see, even though they didn't live with anyone there, they built up decent money in the 2 rounds before, so they've got economy. That won't be too big of an issue, although losing out on the round still wouldn't be ideal. It's an opening kill from Afro this time that will not be missed around the HUT as he pushed forward, so it's a good entry. They don't get the weapon, unfortunately, I don't think, for now.
They do.
Perhaps they did, yeah, sorry, Exercise pushed forward. He will actually, unfortunately now, likely need to rotate down through the vent because they've lost that ramp control.
Mixed returns for the CT side, you have to say. Exercise, he gets off that Nova, like you said, AK now in hand. Aggression again to be called, this time through Squeak, and APOC's timing could be everything. Afro actually wants to back away from this. APOC just starting to shoulder into the angle, will give his life away. Ramp control, the consequence, as they do make their way down into this lower site. And Lucky, the only player left on one of those lesser weapons, the MP9, solo in towards this lower site. Gonna have to be very cautious how he plays it. Will concede the entirety of the site itself. Tucks himself into the double doors, and there's a 2-man play here in towards Decon. Savage tagged down, but not quite enough. 7 HP survives into the even 3-on-3. Exercise catches a nasty little timing onto Sterling, and that gives them the man up once again. There's utility available here. Smokes to go towards that bomb. Afro spotted out and tagged down low, but he keeps on kicking on that AWP, and they start to clear through this site. Body the next issue. Clean headshot onto Savage, and it leaves Hazr in the 1v3. Bomb well placed for him. Body first on it. Smoke a little too late. Exercise there to trade his second teammate, though, and it will be a 5th round on the board. It's getting very scrappy for HEET here, but they're just about able to string it together with another big force buy result.
Yeah, they'll need to try and get a couple of rounds now off the back of it, though, because losing this one immediately in return would leave them at 1900 loss bonus with no money in the reserve, and with Encore just very quickly creeping up on their scoreline and tying things up, so they can't afford to let that happen. Again, Encore had built up a stable enough economy to ensure that they have all their guns here. No op available. We haven't got to see a ton of opping from Sterling, unfortunately, because in their game yesterday as well, he didn't get to pull it out too many times. Quicker outside control, though. It's only an MP9 at the moment in position to hold this down, so not ideal for body, but it looks like he has an idea, I was going to say, to maybe try and push in as they make their way in secret, but he's making his position quite known. Spamming a little bit, so I don't think he's going to want to push forward anymore. Fall back, call it to the teammates that the rotation has likely come down secret, and as you can see, Lucky and Afro are ready for it.
APOC again, solo peek in. Base the position of the Orpu once more as well. They're trying to boost round this corner as Afro pushes into it. It's a two-man play. Lucky gets one. Orpu there to back him up for a while, and Afro continues to string them together. Really keen to get aggressive on that AWP. 3 kills to his name in this round, so you can see why. Savage left to try and salvage. How many times have we seen him in this situation? 1v3 this time. Afro low HP at the very least. Again, though, disconnected from the bomb, disconnected from the team. Nice shot for one. Clean kill onto Joko. Baits the idea that he's gone into control with that window break as well, but the CT side really not falling for it at the moment. Happy to set their crossfires. Afro watching from inside of those vents as soon as anything occurs. Exercise ready to swing on that contact, but it's the Orpu who cleans up house again. So it's good damage, you have to say. Encore consistently finding 2 or 3 kills. This time Afro on the AWP able to stabilize the ship for HEET, and it is a little bit rocking at the moment for the CT side. It's not feeling consistent. Taking a little bit of magic to get them through most of these rounds. They'll need to stabilize here up against the force by Tex and Mac 10s. The order of service, really. A couple of rifles brought out, an AK and a Galil, all that can really be afforded, though. So it should be an opportunity for the CT side to start trying to stabilize.
Yeah, more than just stabilize, again, take some control of the game. Although this force buy is just going to be taking the pace up a little bit for Encore. Straight up rush onto that A-bomb site. I do like the idea of a change of pace. Unfortunately, the smoke down on the edge of HEET makes things quite difficult as they try to emerge to get mowed down, and then onto the feet of Sterling doesn't make things any easier. Savage is managing to creep around towards Hell, it seems, but I'm not too sure how much he's going to be able to do. He's only got the MP9 and Tech 9 as well, unfortunately, so he hasn't got the most ideal weapons for flanking in from heaven. Does have a molly.
It's something
useful.
Problem is, like you said, Tech 9, you want to be up in their faces, you want to be up close. Lucky pins him in clean. And Sterling left on 7 HP. He may as well go die. He doesn't want to get disjointed economically from the rest of the team. Given he's just got $300 in the bank. If he can take one man to the grave with him, that would be fantastic. But in all reality, probably not going to be something that happens here. 4 men left up for HEET. It's a nice round, a stabilizer like I was looking for from them. Deal with that upper site pop. Much better than they've been doing previously as well. They've been struggling with the utility coming in, blinding up both players on site. Lucky a couple of times has been caught in the lurch. And Sterling is actually going to resign himself to the save. Takes the Galil, wants to have a crack at this next round with the hero rifle.
Yeah, it's a weird save, as you said. Because they're going to likely take the eco anyway. I guess they've got full loss bonus at 3,400, so at least now he has a Galil, a molly there he can work with as well. Actually decides to buy up a smoke, so ideally he's going to want to kill out of this and a bomb plant if they could find it as well to ensure that they have everything in this next round. But they get what they can here. They have a bit of an investment. They can hopefully at least try and make it an expensive round because the economy hasn't really built up too much yet for HEET. Still in a position where it could be broken within a round or so, which is the ideal spot for Encore to have them in. Could let them grind out 2 to 3 more rounds, which is enough to have them sitting with a pretty decent E side, so we'll see. APOC making some noise, wanted them to know that he's moved across the secret, of course, as he falls back and hopes to lure them down perhaps to that lower bomb site, or at least 1 or 2 of them. Seems like they might want to just pile out lobby.
Molotov's well timed, right as hazr look to make his way in. He's going to be that pot play, though. You're right. Pot flash comes in. Man on the high ground. Jocko not caught by it. Does dink up one, but again, it's a rough old spray for the Frenchman, and Hazard's able to take advantage of Exercise's desperate trade. Lucky, the low HP bars will grab him one, but it's an even 3-on-3 inside of this upper site. They know where Lucky is as well, inside these vents. Able to lock him out. Low HP bars won't matter to Afro as he chips away at hazr, trying to keep his team in the ascendancy here. Sterling still holding for Lucky, who's looking for a wayward spray, and he will be able to find it eventually. Body there to back his man up. It's another round on the board for HEET, but you have to say those upper side pops are causing them a lot of trouble here. There's 2 A anchors. Exercise and Jocko both having rough old times of it. I think Encore have got the winning formula here, Dean. If they bring the rifles to the party, that round feels like it could go very differently.
Yeah, I mean, they've been done decent in general, finding good entries and such, and running these rounds down to the wire a lot closer than what we were getting from them yesterday overall. But they still need to manage to crack through in one of these crucial rounds, and it's got to be now, really, if they want the chance of actually fully breaking that economy. Take this, take the next one, and who knows, maybe they could even potentially head towards 7. Molly on door. Looked like they might have wanted to have gotten a player down vent in the early moments. Afro, though, he's pushed up in towards ramp. I think with a bit of support as well from what I can see alongside Exercise, so definitely wanting to try and find these early picks, and they're going to find 3 Encore players looking to challenge ramp. It seemed like they were very cautious of that aggression as well. There was 2 players shoulder peeking it for ages, but it doesn't matter. Afro was way too quick on the trigger. As soon as he gets the chance against Savage as well, he's going to go ahead and put him down, and now it's all on APOC. A small consolation with 1 kill right there on Lucky, but even with the damage done elsewhere, I don't really fancy his chances unless some big mistakes are made. And maybe this is the start of those mistakes, actually, as Body charges out with a smoke, but never mind, Joko at the flank.
Yeah, it looked a little awkward for a moment, but as you said, they were just starting to home in on his position. Easy enough to find the kills. Again, well-timed aggression is what I'm going to go for. That can backfire quite badly, as you said, multiple players watching for it. But when it works, it looks very clean. 9-3 on the board. First of the tactical timeouts coming out from Encore. I like the timing of this one as well. You know, you look at that T side on Nuke, you think 5-6 rounds. That's a solid start, right? That's a platform you can build off of. So these kind of rounds where you're right on the edge of being able to get that full buy together as a T side, this is where you need to start stringing them along. You need to start getting some damage up against HEET as well. Up until this point, Encore have done a solid job of keeping their economy relatively quiet. Good savings starting to build up now for the CT side as well, and that's going to cause some major problems if Encore can't get a handle on it towards the death of this first half.
Yeah, it's a 9-3 score where it's a little bit less one-sided than the scoreline right now is reflecting, but they do need to try and get a couple more rounds out of it to make it a worthwhile half. So we'll see. This buy, not really a buy. Spending the excess cash going into this next round where they'll look to get the full guns. Still having a couple rifles at least to work with, and okay, just 1 smoke for now on outside. They were hoping, I guess, to take the fight. Unfortunately, it was an op initially that they have to try and challenge there with Afro, and even now when they put down that next smoke, I was going to say there is still a little bit of a gap, and yeah, it gives them away. Unfortunately, that's the bomb even dropped forward, left in the open. It'll be held off easily at this point, and the force buy is going to amount to absolutely nothing for Encore.
Afro shot baited out. I mean, if Sterling could grab a couple of kills here, maybe. That's something to cheer about, but Body's having enough of it. Smooth sailing for the CT side as they get their double digits. And as much as, you know, you've explained that gap in the smoke to me, and I do understand it now. We saw Licky trying to fight it. I feel like if you've got a Tech 9, you're probably better off not leaving a gap and trying to go down secret and trying to get up close and personal rather than taking that long-range fight. Tech 9 versus an AWP with a gap in the smoke. It was never going to end pretty for Licky, and it ended just about how it should.
I think that time it may have actually been an accident because it was a much smaller gap. The previous time around when they left a massive gap, that just seemed like they couldn't have messed up their smoke that badly, if you get me. So that's why I was thinking there must have been some sort of play the way they double peaked it as well. A previous round though, that was just weird. I don't think they even initially were fully aware that there was a gap. So It is somewhat unfortunate. Outside control again, this time focused on actually just keeping a player up close around main. They've already forced Joko down through vent as well, so that seems like a good call potentially. I was going to say if they were to look to set up the A split, but they're going to move on ramp. This might be a great call as well, especially if they can get this ramp control, if they can trade out Afro and just take it this early on. It can have HEET questioning what the hell is going on. And indeed, as they take down Afro, as they molly off hell to stop any info from being regained, HEET just have no idea about where Encore are trying to take this. And for now, they're willing to slow it down and just play out this 5-on-4, see if there's going to be a response coming in from HEET. And while slowly set themselves up for this A split. Dan Sterling is a madman. Unfortunately, hazr wasn't quite ready. It's a transfer from body. It's the bomb as well that he's taken.
I mean, that's just inexcusable. Two-man pop up top of vent with bomb. APOC trying to wrestle control back. Does catch Jocko on the timing. Doubles it as well, so body is now solo. They know where he is. They know where the bomb is. They've got to go get it, though. And body caught out from below will finally go down. That's a miracle for Encore. APOC doing a fantastic job to recover that situation. I was perplexed as you. Wondering what on earth they were doing there. Giving away the bomb in that manner. Very fortunate to be able to recover that situation. APOC doing a fantastic job. Flashbang just a little off on the timing for Joko there. Gives his life away, and APOC able to recover well for the second. So 10-4. Opportunity to stabilize. 10-5 half would be decent on their map pick for Encore. They do need to get some signs of life. 11-4 feels a little rough. Counter smokes come in for the early utility from Encore. Afro again. Happy to roam on that AWP. We've seen him just about everywhere so far. This time he wants to take it in towards Mini, and he's going to be pop flashed out here. Savage blinded up. Afro able to take full advantage. They do get a man down the vent in APOC. Sterling, though, now looking a little isolated in towards Squeak, if we're being honest. A freebie there. Afro wants to dive down and gives his life away. hazr with the double before he's traded out. Exercise will get a dink onto Licky and no more. So we're into a very chaotic 2-on-2 here. They know Licky is in towards this upper site. That drop into the vent should be heard by body. As he starts to take some site control, and it's a two-man decon now. Not the greatest of afterplants, you have to say. That nade may well deal with Licky. Tags him down desperately low. Counter molly comes out onto the bomb. No smoke available for the CT side, but through theirs. APOC goes down. Jocko finds Licky. And it will be an 11th round on the board. A scrappy first half, but one that HEET are going to be thankful for. 11-4 as we head into the halftime break. A solid CT side from the Frenchman. Mixed feelings at the start of map 1. I think Encore have had their moments, they've had their chances. HEET have looked very scrappy to start the second day of conference here, but they've got it on over the line. 11-4 as they head into the halftime, and a very needed pistol on Encore's map pick for them, Dean.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, there was multiple rounds that could have went Encore's way. It could have propelled them up to a 6, maybe even 7 round half. So I think they'll be kicking themselves a small bit. On the other hand, they had their moments themselves, such as Apoc's clutch. So I guess we'll just have to see now how they could do in the second half to make up for a slightly weaker T side. A couple sets of Dilberettas. I suppose there is technically multiple Dilberettas. Let's see, they're good for holding off these quicker plays.
It's the best weapon for the opportunity, but it's allowed a bit of a gap here. Exercise is down, and Lucky actually going to find the kill onto Savage as they dive down these vents. They're going to go into the lower site. Hazr trying to rotate in to support Licky, who's dinked up now. He needs that support. Exercise, meanwhile, stripping the numbers. Licky, finally good for one. He needs more where that came from, though. He's stuck in towards Dark at the moment. He's got players all around him. In all honesty, they're trying to back him up, but he's in fact the only one left. Licky finds a second headshot, but on low HP, he will finally go down. And I don't know, that felt a little too easy again, Dean. They got down that vent very, very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I think the initial player was tucked in behind the hut itself, in behind hut, yeah. So he wasn't quite ready for the drop. They had one in main who didn't spot it either. So just a player managing to sneak his way down, getting the bomb plant, and just at that point pulling the CT defense all over the place. Not how they would have wanted their CT side to have started off, and I don't know if it's going to get too much better considering the level of force buy that they have in play here. Pistols and MP9, they're up against full rifles, even if it is mostly Galils. You can see HEET have tried to play this as securely as they can. They get their nades for the outside control even. They're pushing across, taking secret. See exactly whether they want to take fights towards outside or not. Down towards secret, not always the safest place to go against these pistol force buys, in fairness.
Always feels a little rough around the edges. You are taking very close fights. Like this one with Licky on that MP9. It always is a little dangerous. Exercise toying with going around that corner. Not keen just yet, having spotted out Sterling. Knowing that Deagle is holding a headshot, and Exercise is desperately close to this. Spotted out, spammed down. Licky will open things up, and now this is where that Sterling-Licky combo can potentially do some work. Molly's going in. They want to try and isolate one of these MP9s, but Licky wisely has fallen back. Now wants another crack at it, though, and Jocko is more than up for the challenge. Levels things out in the 4-on-4. Meanwhile, pressure coming in towards this upper site. They really are unrelenting at the moment, HEET. They want to put pressure on both sites at once, try and keep these pistols honest. Body is actually sneaking out onto the upper site itself. Timing here is going to be everything. Couple spotted out, but they don't know where Body is. He gets an absolute gift, doubles it on the Heaven player. Afro finds one more, and Savage. Well, how many times have you been here, bud? Last man alive, a 1v4. Bomb going down on his site, but he can't contest it. Stuck in towards this hut at the moment. Gonna try for a creep out on timing. Spots out Body, but the 5-7s aren't working today. 13 on the board. HEET looking to get this done quickly.
Yeah, on paper, it shouldn't be an incredibly difficult game for them, in fairness, but we were hoping for a little bit more here from Encore. Nuke, of course, being their map choice. Up next will be Ancient, picked by HEET. Having a look, it is a map that Encore clearly can play. They've got a few matches on record. Not great stats, I've got to say, consider having a look. We've seen their match versus Order went 16-3. They really didn't get into that one, and before that, they'd only played it about a month ago versus Havu, where it really didn't go much better either. This is a bit of a change-up, though. The A rush, they find a completely open bomb site, so unfortunately for Encore, they're stacked towards outside. Hasn't quite panned out as they would have planned. There's a Zeus, there's a couple of flashes, and who knows, maybe a chance to take 1 or 2 players to the grave with them.
That's all you're really hoping for at this point. Even just not dying to the MAC-10 would be good, and Afro and Lucky are making sure that doesn't happen. Smooth sailing, of course, for HEET, having dodged the stack. It was all too easy for them to clean up house, but at least not feeding the MAC-10. I'm looking for silver linings here. Something to work with. 14-4. Sterling finally gets that AWP into his hands on the CT side. Afro been absolutely flying. 27-4 at the moment. The T-side AWP for HEET. Sterling needs to replicate that if Encore are even going to really register here on Nuke. This round has to work, and it has to work pretty much flawlessly as well. We need to see some real signs of life. A little bit of a bonus round coming in for the Frenchman as well. Really no investment into firepower whatsoever, as they just want to go for this A-pot. Body will lead the charge. The mollies are good, and Body will double up. The flashbang's excellent. Licky and Savage ripped from the server in just a minute. And almost immediately, you can see the CT side thinking about the save. APOC has at least dealt with one. Exercise a little too keen. Trying to drop off and get some damage. But still, 3 on 4 for this CT side to deal with. And Sterling does find a pick, but again, it feels like it's in vain here. APOC's going to get caught trying to shoulder in off an off angle. hazr does find one more, though, and low ammo for Body starts to make this feel a little more viable. He switched it up to the 5-7. Lucky now spotted out as well. That bomb only halfway gone. He are not out of the dodge just yet. They will feel like they've got some control of this, but Sterling's looking to rip that away. First shot lands onto Body. He's just sticking this defuse straight up. The molly's going to go in. They're going to try and force Sterling off of it. He's got the smoke. He's sticking it still, but the knife will finish what Lucky's bullet started. 15 for HEET. That is disgusting.
I've got to wonder how close that defuse was right there. Did he run out of bullets when he stopped shooting, or did he just think, damn, I'm going to go for the knife?
I think he did, you know.
Awkward timing, if so. Thankfully, he made it just about in time, but yeah, it must have been down to maybe a second or so at most, considering he'd been sticking that for a while. 15-4. Nice attempt at the clutch, you've got to say, from Encore. The fact that they even brought us so close in the retake really wasn't expected. But unfortunately, not really enough in this situation. Now they're on another force buy. They brought out everything they can. There's 3 MP9s, 2 M4s, a few nades behind it. And 11 rounds in a row needed just to get this towards an overtime on their own map chase. I do not love their chances. Ancient up next is a map where this potentially could be happening again, unless we have a massive turnaround in performance and mentality from Encore.
It's a big old mountain to climb, isn't it? 11 rounds down on your map pick. A scrappy buy, to say the least, to try and defend it. APOC down to 25 HP, 3 MP9s on the board. You'd like him to get rid of that rifle, give it to someone with health. But stuck outside, he's not really going to have the room to do so. Nasty little crossfire here in towards the ramp. hazr replicating an angle we saw Hadji take yesterday. He's caught with a nade in hand, though. Jocko wants him and will get him. They baited into both the rifles here. Sterling and APOC combining well, and Sterling actually able to double his account. The spray down on Lucky's Galil, not quite there. This might be the chance for something here. Licky's caught a nice timing to tuck himself into CT vent as well. Dodges the crosshair of Body. There should be a cleanup now for Encore. There should be a 5th round available for this CT side. Licky's going to catch the timing. Body caught by the spray down, leaving Afro alone. 27 and 5 at the moment. Any damage beyond this point would be solid, but with just 20 seconds left, I think he might have to resign himself to saving the AWP. Not even that. Licky puts his man down. It's a long old road to a comeback, but Encore have started it the right way.
Yeah, as you said, the right way. Keeping 4 standing. Only losing out on hazr. They can easily drop him a weapon back over, and having a look at the economy, actually, for the E, it's not really there for the full buy. They'll go for it anyway. Or, sorry, it's just about there. They're going to go for it, but as you can see, there's nothing really left over afterwards then in terms of getting another buy in again. So win this, suddenly it's a full eco, maybe a few pistols at most come out, 7 rounds on the board for Encore, and the next gun round then could suddenly start propelling them towards double digits. So it's a long way to go, but it's not impossible is my point that I'm trying to make.
Yeah, it looks like a long way, but in reality, you're right. You can split it into probably 4 or 5 full rifle buys, right, between you and OT. Of course, that's no mean feat up against the Frenchman. Body making his way down into secret. Looks to catch the timing, but Licky's aware. The opening man advantage again is there for Encore. This time uncontested once more. HEET looking a little wobbly. We have seen them have these periods in series where they just go a little quiet. Utility dropped into that A site, but no real firepower to follow it. And with 50 seconds left on the clock, they're starting to try and make their way back towards the ramp, but hazr is there to lock that down. The man advantage becomes 2, and at this point, looking very rough for HEET indeed. Jocko tagged up in the legs by Savage. Really just not got any kind of plan at the moment. APOC catches a freebie. Jocko in transition, and now hazr on a new angle will double his. Exercise finally opens the account of Heat in this round, but it's into a 1v4 he finds himself. Glock out, trying to bank the control windows. Nice spray down to deal with Licky. That'll open up a bomb plant as well. A nice little money maker for that T side into the 1v3. Exercise looking to line him up, but Sterling is there to knock him down instead. 6th round on the board. And it should be, as you said, a relatively decent eco coming out from that T side rather now.
Yeah, at the very least, even if they don't fully work their way back into Nuke here, they can get themselves warmed up. They can hopefully be a little bit more prepared moving towards Ancient so that they can put up a fight and start working their way back into the series in that way. But for now, anyway, they will definitely be taking this one round at a time, hoping that they can start heading towards that overtime. The bomb went down though, so Money's not quite as weak as I thought it would be for Heat. They maybe could have pressed the issue if they really wanted to. They decide against it though, with the current scoreline. I mean, if they were to go for the force, it doesn't work. Suddenly they're giving away like 2 or 3 rounds to Encore that isn't really necessary. Instead, they can get a couple Mac 10s here, or just one Mac 10, sorry, a Tech 9 and some pistols as well then around this. So it's not too bad. They can do something with this 2 to 3 kills, hopefully then convert off it in the next gun round and just try and end it there. That's going to be the goal anyway for Heat.
Charging into the ramp, it's going to be hazr under pressure. Baits them in nicely for Sterling, however. The AWP are able to connect. And hazr wisely just drops back into the relative safety of the site itself. Sets up on this headshot angle. Afro's looking for it, but he gets his head cleaned. And hazr now just got to buy time. The rotation's already starting to come in. APOC already there in towards control, and that's more like it from Encore. 15-7. hazr starting to find his feet as well, having a really solid series. As you said, get through that one cleanly. Build up a little bit more cash. Allow yourselves... You're not going to be rebuying, let's put it that way. If it goes wrong once, you're done for. But you want to allow yourselves to have all the rifles, all the utility, everything you need every round. And they've managed to get that here. Managed to keep Afro off that AWP as well. 27-8 now. Those stats slowly starting to creep back. Early outside smokes come in. It's the close wall to try and allow garage control from the T side. Forcing a little bit more mindfulness towards outside as the APOC comes in. Savage ready for it. Will find one, and he gets them low for the pistol as well. Licky doing a ton of work before he's taken down by Body. Keeps his team in this one in the 3-on-3 retake. Molotov's onto the side. Body caught in amongst it, and hazr takes advantage for a double. It's all onto Lucky's shoulders now in the 1v3. Bomb down for him at least. hazr smokes him off though, and that makes this incredibly ugly. Through the smoke, in fact, he'll find the kill. An 8th round on the board, and it has to start feeling like it's doable now for Encore. Heat not quite finding the purchase they'd want with these T-side rifles.
hazr's playing a nasty game as well. He's up on 24 kills right now, over just actually double of the next teammate on 12. So it is good to see that they have someone today who's stepping up, who's being that impact player, as you can see it called on your screen right there, getting the job done when they need it. So hopefully he can keep that up. They've actually forced a pause out of Heat as well. Again, it's a bit unfortunate it took them so long to wake up, because they had 2 or 3 chances in that first half as well, where the economy of Heat was on the brink of destruction, where they had the chance to potentially break them down and get towards the 6 or 7 round half, which would have, even with the slower start into their CT side here, would have left them in a somewhat decent position right now, where they were getting close-ish to a tied scoreline. Instead, they need 7 just to get an overtime.
It's starting to feel doable though. Hero rifles coming out. Heat going for an AK on exercise. Body picks up the Khalil. It's Deagles and P250s for the remainder. It's looked a little rough, the Frenchman. Faking an early APOC with the utility, but there's plenty of presence here to receive it if they want to go. And Body dropping down, does deal with Sterling early. Traded nicely by APOC. But that is the AWP taken out of the equation early on. hazr again just locking down this ramp. Heat really struggling to get any kind of entry there. APOC now aggressing outside as well is going to make this go from bad to worse. Exercise has his knife out. He's looking the wrong way. He's getting nades sorted, and APOC will take his head off for free. Backs out of the situation as well. Wise play. Looks to reset his angle. Will be punished for it by Lucky, who at least keeps it competitive in this 2-on-3 situation. But again, the damage It's looking solid. Afro tagged down to 42. Man up for Encore. All they got to do is play this together, trade efficiently, and the 9th round is theirs.
Yeah, Lucky and Afro will creep across the secret. Okay, actually coming back out. Just as Hazard rotates down as well. The other two players have pushed through lobby, so if they go on towards A, and if they do it relatively faster, then there should be at least a bomb plant available. Unfortunately, taking their time with it, they'll actually head around towards Heaven. This might make it a much better after plant, though. If they can get Lucky in towards Heaven in a position where you can play off of the bomb, it would give them, I would say, a much better shot at actually winning out the round. Problem is, Afro needs to get into the bomb site, and that's going to have to happen pretty quickly if they actually do want to go for this. 12 seconds to get on and start getting it planted. Smoke down to at least cut off the vision from Door, but Savage has been given time to rotate back around, and Licky up the ladder as well. Lucky, unfortunately, had no idea.
Both teams looking to slow play it, neither with any real information about what was going on. And like you said, timing was there potentially, but realistically, he had no idea. No info as to where that CT side was. They had to slow play it, and that just left them with no time on the clock. A couple of quick denial kills, and Encore one away from double digits now, this CT side. It's really starting to find its feet, and I think you can feel it a little bit from HEET. They're starting to get a little nervy. They thought they had this one in the bag, casting their minds to Ancient, not to be. T-side is stuttering once again. A delayed pop out into this A site is the call. They get out early. Exercise finds one. Now Savage up against the wall. Multiple bodies headed his way, but he's holding firm. Sterling from on high there to back his man up. And that's more like it from this CT side. Double digits, almost a guarantee at this point. Lucky for the 1v4. Galil to try and maybe just rip a couple of heads from shoulders, but the money is good for Encore. They can reinvest fully no matter what happens here. Lucky will at least find the one. They know where he is now as well. Can start to pin him in. Minute and 5 seconds. Bomb on his back. How much can you realistically expect him to get done?
I mean, with a minute still, it's doable. He has time to wrap around. No one actually knows where he's at. There's no one watching outside currently either, so he could even make his way down secret and start being a little bit of a wrap, but not for now. Instead, over towards main. This may not be the call he was hoping for, though, considering there's two players immediately on the bomb site and the third on ramp who can rotate relatively quickly. So it's going to be tough. It's the Opto up close. So Sterling was to miss a shot, perhaps that initial entry, then Savage slightly tagged up on the bomb site as well. Here we go. 25 seconds to try and actually get on. Will he clear this close vent as well as the question? He actually will, yes. Spots the top of the barrel, but unfortunately he can't do anything about it. Tries to hunt them around the corner. Sterling hits him with the no-scope, because why not? 15-10, 5 rounds to go. Already, I believe, 5 being taken at this point, has it been?
It's been more than that. It was 15-4 at one point, so a nice 6-round set. It's looked good as well from Encore. They've been starting, like we were asking, right, to stitch together these moments, turn them into something consistent. HEET stuttering, misfiring a little bit on their T side. Utility's good, locks Afro out of his first angle of choice. A little bit of a welcome M4A1 spam as well. And again, nothing really early on for HEET. Traded out utility at the very least, but no more than that. Outside control being contested somewhat. Apoc tucks himself in towards Secret, Licky and Mini. And HEET, they're keen on this upper site, but Licky through the smoke has found the opening. A little bit of misfortune for Lucky, but Encore will take everything they can get. And, well, off the back of it, HEET are actually going to double back. Outside smokes to come through. Problem is, again, with Apoc tucked in, these smokes don't really sell anything. He'll be able to confirm that nobody's gone down. There'll be nobody rotating off the back of these. And even swings wide with a flashbang to make absolutely sure. So as this ramp hit looks to come in, there's going to be multiple bodies ready and waiting. Molotov even to slow it down further. It's starting to feel very one-dimensional from the Frenchman, and Sterling, well, he's going to look to take full advantage of that. Tucks into the ramp, lines him up, knocks down the first. Flashbang not quite going to land where it intends. Jocko will at least find one. They need so much more where that came from. Savage already rotating in to cover hell. Afro going to try and swing wide into him, but it's a freebie, doubled, bomb down. And he, once again, just looking a little lost on this T side. Body on the lurk, 20 seconds left. Can potentially look to save the AK-47, but that's the only silver lining for the Frenchman.
Yeah, it seems to be the goal. It is really all that they can do. Good work back on ramp there by Sterling. Just take the 1 kill, open things up, and then look to stay alive. Allow his teammate back towards hell then to do a great job of just slowing them down. So, another great round from Encore. As you said, they're managing to take these in quite convincing fashion as well, which is great to see. Right now, the comeback looks like a real possibility, of course, here on Nuke, but it's also giving me hope that we're potentially going to have a closer Ancient. It was a slow start, that it was a rusty Encore in the early rounds here on Nuke.
It's certainly feeling that way. HEET taking their second tactical. The problem for Encore is that having got to the 15, HEET know that all it takes is one moment, right? One little bit of magic, one missed opportunity for someone on Encore, and they will get this over the line. So it gives them a little of extra confidence. Having said that, watching it slowly creep away from them can't be too good for the morale either. 15-4 at one point would have been thinking, yeah, we get this close quickly, we head to Ancient. Clean 2-0, go enjoy some time out in Stockholm. Instead, an arm wrestle here on map 1. And another half buyout for the Frenchman. Jocko gets his hands on the AK-47, dropped across, body dropped a deagle in response. Hoping that Hero AK can get some purchase. They do need to get something out of these kind of rounds now. Not really been finding much of anything so far.
Creeping in on ramp. They do have the hero rifle, of course, leading the charge, and the timing. Sterling had no idea. Had already scoped before coming around the corner as a hope, I guess, not to make noise as he's going forward and just give himself away. Unfortunately, that's what backfired, and an op should be retrieved indeed, picked up by Afro. They'll get the bomb planted now down on B. And although there has been a trade back elsewhere, there's still a couple of weapons for them to work with on this B after plant, which is always a difficult retake. So that's definitely not going to be easy for Encore. And, well, this is a solid crossfire. Lucky and Joko set up. There's going to be 3 players moving in. The flash to try and initiate. The deagle, though, going to be just playing off of Joko's contact. And, well, they're doing it perfectly, popping in and out, making sure that the angles are never available to them. And with that, eventually, you do see HEET find them to finish a 16-11 scoreline in the end. Stick with us, guys. When we come back, we're going to break it down fully for you.